Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today we're going to look at the rather short, but I think pretty important discography, the studio albums of San Diego's Iron Butterfly, a band that a lot of you have asked for, a band that I've always kind of dug, right? They're one of those bands that like most people understand kind of how important they were in the kind of history of rock music, but they, other than like their one really big song, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, most people don't, casual people don't really know anything else by them, don't know much about the band, but actually a pretty cool band. I think they were very important to the early kind of psychedelic / acid rock scene of the late 60s. That's when they kind of rose to prominence. Okay, they've had a numerous lineup changes. All right, and they recorded up till the mid-70s and then basically went away as far as recording stuff, have kind of gotten back together and done tons of touring under various lineup configurations. I think they're still out there touring to this day. I think the only original member is the drummer. Okay, so yeah, and they've got all sorts of folks who have been in and out of the band over the years. In fact, I didn't even know this, but Dave Maros, the bass player for Spock's Beard, is also a member of Iron Butterfly. I had no idea. So they've got 6 studio albums altogether. I'm going to rank them in the order of my preference. I dig most of them. They're not, I would say none of them are great albums, but there are plenty of good songs to be found in all of them. And I know some of you might be saying, you know what, that's a band I only really need a really good greatest hits set. Possibly, but there's other songs on these albums that are not on the hit sets that are actually pretty good. But they might be one of those bands where, unless you can get their catalog for fairly cheap, if you got a single or double disc hits collection or essentials collection, might be all you need. They also have a very good live album too, which I do want to recommend, which is Iron Butterfly Live. That's pretty damn good. It's got a mega lengthy version of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, right? In-A-Garden-of-Eden, right? That's what it sounds like. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, or In the Garden of Eden, however you want to say it. Most of us remember that song from Silence of the Lambs, right? All right, so I'm going to start off number 6 with my least favorite, all right, which is an album called Scorching Beauty from 1975. It's this one right here. Okay, they actually released both of these albums here in 1975, so these were the last kind of grasp at putting together some studio material. And I think that Scorching Beauty is an interesting album because it doesn't sound anything like previous releases. All right, so we have a fairly different lineup of the band. Let me see, I'll get you exactly who's in the band here, if I can find that information. Okay, so we've got Eric Braun, okay, on who's singing and playing lead guitar. You've got Ron Bushy on drums and vocals. Ron there from the beginning. Phil Kramer on bass vocals and lead vocals, backing and lead vocals, and Howard Rietzes on keyboards and vocals. All right, so this particular album, it's weird because, like I said, it doesn't really sound like neither one of these two albums, the later albums from 75, sound anything like the other albums. They're more, to me, you got bits of prog, you got bits of like kind of hard rock, you've got a little bit of glam rock. There's certain songs where you almost hear like a little bit of the Sweet or Queen, especially in the vocals. The music is less kind of atmospheric and haunting and kind of psychedelic. All right, more kind of like mid-70s, kind of like boogie rock, hard rock, that type of thing. But yeah, hear a little bit of Sweet, hear a little bit of kind of like Steppenwolf. Still pretty good. I mean, there's some good songs on here. What do we got? Hard Misery is pretty good. High on a Mountaintop, I dig. 1975 Overture is actually pretty cool, pretty proggy. Cool synths on this album. People of the World, Pretty Gates. It's solid. It's not great. It's just very different. I know a lot of people who are like into the band from the early days don't really like these two albums much. I don't mind them too much. They're just very different. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to go with Sun and Steel, which is the final studio album they've done. Okay, where they did that one right there. For me, this album is a little more cohesive. It's definitely fairly rockin' and sparse. The title track is really good. Sun and Steel. Beyond the Milky Way, a cool tune. What else? Watch the World Going By, title track. I like it. Personnel here, we've got Eric Braun again, Ron Bushy, Phil Kramer, and Bill DeMartini's on keyboards and vocals. So again, a lot of lineup changes going on throughout like the latter stages of this band, actually throughout their whole career. I think that's always known for a band that just you can never kind of keep track of who is who in the band. All right, coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with their debut album from 1968 called Heavy. It's actually not heavy at all, but very, very much an album of its time. Okay, this just screams like kind of 1968 flower power psychedelia, from the California scene. Possession is a really good tune. What else we got on here? The Iron Butterfly theme is a lot of fun. Look for the Sun, Solo, Gentle as It May Seem, Get Out of My Life, Woman. All right, so here, a very, like I said, non-heavy album. This, of course, is the original band. So you got Ron Bushy on drums. He's the only guy who's still in the band to this day. You got Daryl DeLoach on vocals and tambourine. You got Doug Ingle on organ and lead vocals. A lot of people remember Doug's very distinctive lead vocal style. He was the main singer early in the days. He had that very distinct organ sound as well. You got Jerry Penrod on bass and backing vocals, and Danny Weiss on guitars. Okay, so that one's going to come in at, like I said, number 3 for me. Number 4. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with their big seller, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, honey. Their main song that, like I said, that most people know when they talk about In-A-Gadda or talk about Iron Butterfly on the album, it's 17 minutes long. It's got like a big organ solos, drum solo, the whole 9 yards. Live, it's even longer. Of course, this features Doug Ingle again on organ, and vocals. Lee Dorman, okay, on bass, backing vocals. Ron Bushy on drums, and new guy in the band, Eric Brand. Okay, he would be a guitarist for a couple albums, and also very distinct sound. And again, he is the guy with kind of playing, responsible for playing those big fuzzed out guitar lines on the title track. But otherwise, on this album, it's not that heavy. All right. That particular song is the track that got the most attention. That's the heaviest song. I think most people think of early Iron Butterfly. Oh, they were kind of that really heavy band at the time. But, other than that song, not very heavy. But, it's got Most Anything You Want, a great song. Again, great vocal by Doug. You got Flowers and Beads, My Mirage, and Termination. And then also Are You Happy, which is a very cool tune. Again, not a heavy album. Some kind of fuzzy guitar tones here and there. The organ's very, very cool. But still a pretty groundbreaking album at the time. But for me, not their best album. Okay. Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with Ball. Ball, I think, out of the first couple, probably the strongest. This is their third release, 1969. It's got the great Time of Our Lives, which, again, very psychedelic pop rock song. I dig it. Love the kind of really mournful organ, a lot of these tunes. It's kind of similar to, what you'd hear from Ray Manzarek of The Doors, right? What else? Soul Experience is a very cool tune. Lonely Boy, Filled with Fear, Belle the Beast, Real Fright, In the Crowds. This is just a very, very strong album, I think. I think my 2 favorites, I like them as much as I do because I think they're the most consistent Iron Butterfly albums, right? Coming in at number 1, I dig this album a lot. I think this is by far their best album. So this is Metamorphosis from 1970. All right. This, to me, again, very different from the couple albums that came before it. And again, more lineup changes. So you got Ron Bushy on drums, you got Lee Dorman still there on bass guitar, you got Doug Engel on organ. This would be the last album he records with the band. Mike Pinera on guitar, and Larry Rhino Reinhardt on guitar as well. So here you got the two-pronged guitar attack, and I think it really changed the style of the band's music. So gone is most of the kind of the early acid rock, psychedelic rock edge that they had on those first three albums. Here, more of like a hard rock band. And there's even like some kind of southern rock grooves going on here as well. I hear, when I listen to this, I think of like Steppenwolf of the same period. Maybe a little bit of Cactus, Humble Pie, that sort of thing. There's kind of like a bluesier, hard rockin' element going on this album, and lots of tasty twin guitar stuff going on here, as well as the little bit of organ. But the organ taking a back seat a bit. All right, it's still there. But I think, some fantastic tunes on here. You got the great Easy Rider, kick-ass hard rock song. Butterfly Blue, lengthy, kind of haunting, ominous piece with some really cool talkbox guitar shenanigans going on. Soldier in Our Town, all right, Free Flight, Shady Lady, Best Years of Our Life, Slower Than Guns. Stone Believer, some very, very strong tunes on here, I think. This is by far my favorite Iron Butterfly album. I think if like I said, most people who have never really listened to them are going to say, I probably should get, if I want to check these guys out, I should get, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. You may find parts of that album just kind of lacking a little bit, I think. But again, that's probably the most representative of their sound and style. But I think Metamorphosis is the strongest album in their canon. All right, so that's just me. You may feel different, and that's totally cool because we all hear these albums differently. We got different set of these things right here, right? And there's some albums that really meant a lot to us at that time in our lives when they came out or whatever. So it's perfectly cool if you like some of the other ones better than I do. That's, like I said, I like all these. They're all very different. That needs to be said. I think all of their albums are very different from each other. No two album sounds exactly alike, which is good considering, a couple of them, they, 68, they did Heavy and In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. 69 was Ball, 70 was Metamorphosis, and then 75, they did both Scorching, Beauty, and Sun and Steel. So a lot of recordings in a very short span of time. So kudos to the band for not just recording the same albums over and over again. All right, so let's recap my list. Coming in at number 1, I'm going to go with Metamorphosis. Number 2, I'm going to go with Ball. Number 3, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Number 4, Heavy. Number 5, Sun and Steel, the final album. Sun and Steel, the final album. And number 6, Scorching Beauty. There you have it. So rank the Iron Butterfly albums below. If you care to, all right, and make sure you visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube all the damn time. So what's coming up over the next couple days? Humble Pie, Van Halen, some more new product shows. I got a couple new CDs I want to review for you that I think you guys will dig. Otherwise, kind of more of the same, right? Essential Miles Davis, all right, by decade. Mike Antonelli and I going to try and figure that out when we're going to get together to do that soon. I know there's, the problem is, as far as like guest stars and things like that, with all that's going on in the world with coronavirus and people being quarantined, and we're told to stay in the house, can't go to the gym, can't go to the bar, can't go to the restaurant, people running out to go to the supermarkets to buy up all the freaking toilet paper and bottled water and all that kind of stuff. It's nuts. People can't go to school, life as we know it is topsy-turvy right now. But I think the important thing is that we all just kind of keep calm, do what's right, take care of yourself, right? Respect your neighbors, respect everybody. Everybody's got to respect each other, right? Let's not turn into savages here. And I think we'll get through this and we'll be fine. So let the gift of music heal you. Right. So if you care to spend a few minutes each day with me, all right, just to kind of talk about some cool bands and cool albums, it's highly recommended if you ask me, because I think music helps us kind of get away from all the stuff that's going on in our lives and allows us to kind of transport ourselves to another plane, at least temporarily, right, and get some enjoyment out of what otherwise is happening around us. So make sure you go check out our playlist. All right, we've got 5.5 years of video archives. I've got everything nicely situated in the playlist. So if you're looking to see what kind of ranking the album stuff we've done, go to the playlist. If you want to see the top 10 song shows, go to the playlist. If you want to see which bands or genres I've done history of overviews, go to that playlist. If you want to check out and see what stuff I've reviewed over the years, go to the reviews playlist. All right. If you like my rants, you want to hear me talking about all sorts of nonsense, go to the rants playlist. I got stuff for everything there. So make sure you check that out. Also, for all of you who like old school comic books, I do have another channel, which we really could use your subscribership. We're fairly new over there. It's called Comic Book Geezers. My buddy Wild Bill and I, we do a weekly show over there where we talk about and show very cool comics from our collections from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. All right, so if you love the old Marvel stuff like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Thor, Incredible Hulk, if you like, Batman or Superman or the Flash or, all that kind of stuff, we show them, we open them, we talk about them, we do theme shows over there. So it's Comic Book Geezers right here on YouTube. Head on over there, subscribe, and tell your friends. Like I said, we could certainly use the subscribers. We're growing, but you know how it is when you start up a new channel. It takes a little while. So anyway, don't forget to check out our webzine too, www.seatranquility.org, and we'll see you guys over the next couple days. Take care. Bye-bye.